it must
building.
be Friday. It must be Friday. It must be Friday because here I am again. Oh my
Friday.
God. I mean, I almost can't believe I made it. Wow. I mean, it's crazy. Like the week has been so long and so short at the same time. But here we are back with my friend Bit Savage, who I'm so excited to chat with him again today. And Bit Savage, why don't you introduce yourself and tell everyone who you are? But first, my name is Maximilian. I'm
But
full of
first,
jokes. I know. I'm so full of jokes today, right? Everyone's getting clown burgers. My name is Maximilian. I'm an artist putting art and music on the blockchain. We are blockchain agnostic. We love all the blockchains. And we are here talking about today, we're talking about putting art on Bitcoin. And we're going to get into that. And my friend Bit Savage has a wonderful platform he's going to share with us. And the platform helps us put art on Bitcoin. But what's so special about it is that when we're putting art on Bitcoin in this way, even if something were to happen or something were to change and the marketplace was no longer available, our art would still be on Bitcoin, still available, still on the ledger, still discoverable, still accessible. And that's really what we're going for because we in the crypto art world have been plagued by platforms that shut down. And it's sad, of course. No platform wants to shut down. It's just a fact. It's just a way that things go. And what happens, unfortunately, is the artists get caught in this really uncomfortable situation where all of the time and the money and the love and sweat and blood we've invested, it all just seems to evaporate away when the marketplace disappears and your art is not there anymore. It's just something that we have to do something about. So this is one of hopefully many solutions on the horizon. And without further ado, for real this time, uh, I want to introduce my friend Bit Savage and let him introduce himself to you.
yes, indeed. Thanks so much. I appreciate you again for having me here. Gotta say shout out to your audience. Like the few shows we've been doing, it's been incredible. Feedback, questions, energy. So you have something special here. So definitely champion anyone that sees the links, retweet, tune in, invite a friend, pull up a seat. So give me your roses right now today. Again, thanks for doing this. So I'm Bit Savage. So yeah, here again, I am an artist. I kind of want to say artist first, but I'm a interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary, multi-level creative storyteller. So I take different mediums, different things, different genres to tell stories, to tell messages, ultimately to empower others and to allow others to feel comfortable being authentic. You know, the more authentic I am, the more authentic everyone else can feel. You know, we give each other courage. You know, that's kind of I feel like the need for humanity to help each other. So today we're talking about Bitcoin, art on Bitcoin, and like you said, it's been it's been I don't want to say naive, but we've been trusting platforms. You know, we've been led astray, I should say. So you got YouTube, you got Vine, you got Instagram, you got TikTok, all these Web2 platforms, and they feed off creativity. They feed off the creators. They're kind of like vampires. They need us. Yes, they build these apps where billions can come, but they need the creatives. They need the content creators. And then they give out these like terms of conditions and these contracts that are they don't provide a sustainable way of living unless you're on OnlyFans and doing some music. There's music on OnlyFans. OnlyFans is a music site. um, but it's just a fair exchange. You want to have a fair exchange. So we've been building Adores. We started on Ethereum. We did layer two. You know, we got what is it? Optimism based chain. But Bitcoin came out 2 years ago with ordinals and runes, you know, and BRC20s. And we were like, we need to pivot. So as an innovator, I said, I need to learn as much as I can so I can use these tools and I can bring to others. And that's the foundation. Just like you said, Web3 platforms have been shutting down. So the trust has been kind of broken. You know, for me, I was already tiptoeing. You know, I never really fully release my art in Web3. I kind of did some stuff on Ethereum, which is pretty good. Great community, Ash community. Like I said, with Pac, I was talking about the Ash community. So I did some great 3D work. My paintings, I haven't really released my paintings, but Bitcoin, I'm bringing it to Bitcoin, and I'm just going all in on Bitcoin. For me, I'm building my foundation on Bitcoin. Then Ethereum, base chain, I'll experiment later. So for me, I just want a peace of mind, and I'm going to tell other artists, hey, you can do this as well. And there's lots to do on Bitcoin. A lot of people, they look at Bitcoin like, oh, it's expensive, oh, it's small file size, and they kind of say one or two things and they leave, or they just get turned off. But archiving on Bitcoin, that should be the first thing you think about. Like, Bitcoin's been around for almost decades. It's been the longest chain. It's the most liquidity. It's tons of great things about Bitcoin. So it's just kind of a no brainer to put your art on Bitcoin. Um, so yeah, so we're building indoors, and like I said, we wanted to. I think we want to bring it to your community to say we're launching first. We have, like I said, we have Ordinal 625 community, and we're excited on the announcement. Just waiting for developers to talk about our platform, the Launchpad. And the thing is, if you're in the Bitcoin space and you know about the launch pads and like basically building in Web3 in general, it's kind of built on APIs. A lot of people, they take shortcuts and they just use the hooks. They use the APIs, and then they slap together a website. And in Bitcoin, some of
Tell
these
us,
AP,
tell us, tell us all the dirt. That's what I'm
I
saying.
mean, this is
Tell
just
us.
this is the behind the scenes. It's not dirt. It's behind the scenes. So in Bitcoin, a lot of these APIs are breaking. Last year, a lot of the APIs, and so what this means is they just have to, both teams have to go back and say, okay, what was the bug? What was the problem? So Bitcoin's 2 years old. Everything's new. A lot of things will break. You need it to break. But yeah, so a lot of what some of the launch pads now, they're experiencing APIs breaking, and they got to push back launches, and then you get the DDoS attacks. Some
What's the
hacker.
what's a
What?
DDoS attack for
A
someone who doesn't
D.
know?
Oh yeah. If you've been in Web3, you probably heard of this, but officially a distributed denial of service attack. So basically, a hacker can send millions of bots to try to use your website or try to flood it with traffic. And if your site gets flooded with so much traffic, it'll just do a 404, not responsive. So there's ways around this. You want to prepare your website if you're building a site that's going to have traffic or anything. You want to prepare for DDoS. And sometimes hackers get clever, so you can prepare as much as you want, but you gotta wait to see what they do. What's their kung fu? What do they send out? And this is kind of like the back end technical specs. And people don't care about this. They just want to say, when is it ready? When is it live? What are you doing? It's like, we kind of need to do all this back end stuff first.
Yeah, this stuff is important because otherwise, then you have problems with transactions and so
Yeah.
on.
Yes, yes, yes. So we have an agenda today, and so creating on Bitcoin, like I said, kind of like master mentioned last time, was digital masters. Um, and the reason, so digital master, you can think of it as a full painting or full art piece. It's 500 by 500, or landscape or portrait. It's the full image, but it's in black and white. So you kind of use that grayscale, put it in black and white, and then recursively, then you get your layers, your transparent layers, and you bring in the color recursively. So that's kind of what we were talking about last time, and that's an interesting way to approach anything. Some artists may just want to take a picture or take a photograph and just inscribe it straight up to Bitcoin, and there's ways to do that. But I also suggest to be clever, to have fun on Bitcoin, and see really what you can do different on Bitcoin.
Yeah, just riffing on this recursive experience of creating in this way. So I know that in the last live stream when we talked about recursion, we were mentioning it in the scope that it could potentially offset the cost. For example, taking like a fully rich file and just inscribing it versus using recursion where you're first putting a layer that's an outline and then you're adding the other additional layers later. Like,
Yeah.
is it a situation where like the sum total is all the same, or is it really like less? Do you know what I mean?
Well, the way I've been telling a few artists is to think of it as a library. So, say if you want to inscribe a full Maximilian library, and you have 200 traits or 200 layers.
Hmm.
Now, once you inscribe all 200 layers, essentially you can through delegation. So you use the inscription ID. Once you inscribe all the layers, they'll all have inscription IDs, and now you can use them and generate new artworks. So you can generate your initial artwork. Say if you had a Pepe Baggio that had 200 layers, now you can use
Ah,
those layers to generate new things, and you don't need to inscribe any more files. You just remix how the layers look moving
that
forward.
is that's so interesting. So basically, I'm just writing new recipes. I have all the
Yeah,
ingredients,
yeah,
and I'm
that's
just
it.
writing a new recipe. So then,
That's it.
I'm minting, I'm inscribing
Hmm.
the recipe,
Yeah, that's it.
and
That's it.
inscribing the recipe is a lot less than inscribing than buying all the groceries, so to
Buy all
speak.
the ingredients and doing it all over again. Yep, that is
Okay.
true.
So, thinking about this with my artist hat on, I do I ever take it off? I don't know. The
It's
hacker
always
cap
on.
is always on. Yeah, it's always on, right?
It's like a
Uh,
badge. The badge is always on.
it's like a tattoo
Yeah, yeah.
on my face, though. It's not a tattoo on my face, right?
Please, no
Um,
one get a tattoo on their face.
I gotta be honest with you. Face tattoos are kind of sexy. I'm not
Oh,
gonna lie. Now, everybody can't wear a face tattoo,
that's
but
true.
the people I have seen it on does add. I'm gonna just come out and say it. Mike Tyson looks good with the face tattoo. He does. I'll be honest. I prefer it. I think it adds something. It's like it's hot. I love it. I've seen
Yeah.
some face tattoos that are fire. I don't know if
Oh
it's
my
right for me.
goodness.
Maybe a little one. Maybe a little one. Uh, but maybe later. But yeah, so what I'm thinking is like when I think of recursion, I'm thinking like a mural. I
Hmm.
imagine a mural. Like I'm like, holy, I could do a mural with recursion. Like um, a lot of times, as artists, we have like some new inspiration. So the reason why I'm kind of like massaging this is because I'm thinking
Hmm.
like, sometimes there's a feature, it could be used for something, but a lot of times the first iteration that we come up with is not necessarily the best, right? And so I'm
Yeah.
just thinking like, yeah, so like if someone has definitely if someone is doing something like a PFP collection or something like that where there are like uh, repetitively used segments of the artwork, I can
Hmm.
see how this would be really helpful. But what about a situation? So, like for example, when I do a collection, each piece really is unique. I actually am not in the habit of reusing, say, the
Yeah.
eyes or an arm or anything like
Hmm.
that. But uh, I could see this could be unique for maybe a background,
Yep. Hmm. Backgrounds are
uh,
good.
maybe some type of a frame.
Hmm. Little
If
elements.
Yeah, some of these kinds of elements. Okay, this is interesting. And what about for music?
Oh, music. Oh man. There's a project there's one project that inscribed all 88 piano keys. So you can compose
What?
songs using those tones. So technically you can make any type of music with those inscription IDs. And there's another project that inscribed, my goodness, this kind of music maker. And it's like an on-chain beat creator. So that they took the same idea where they inscribed all these sounds. Now recursively you can make music. And
And I
technically,
can I'm
go
sorry to
ahead.
interrupt, but there's
Uh,
something. So if they have inscribed all 88 keys, right?
yep.
I just want to make
Uh-huh.
sure. So like in my recipe, in my instructions, can I tell them to
Hmm.
play like
You
chord?
can,
Can I get them to
yep.
play chords?
You
Yes?
can, yeah.
Okay.
You just need the UI, the user interface to do that. But it's technically possible. So with music and then sounds, so even vocals. So what if you inscribed the backgrounds, the foregrounds, the vocals, and then if you just have your vocals inscribed, now you can play around with what track is being played. Different tracks can play with different vocals. You can mix and match the song. You can make new songs.
So as a creator, let's say I'm listening to this and I'm like, yeah, yeah, I want to do that. And I've got my tracks, I've got the chick, 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 chick,
Uh
and I've got the dum, 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 right? I've
yeah,
got all my little right.
all
Okay.
the sounds,
So
the
so I've
stems.
got I've got exactly I've got my stem. So now how do I take my tracks and how do I like parlay that into this
Bitcoin.
ecosystem? Yeah, how do I
Yeah.
how do I shove it
Oh
in
man.
there? Or how do I oh, I lost Bid Savage. He'll be back. He'll be back, everyone. Maybe he had a service interruption there. Don't worry, I'm not going to let him get off the hook. When he comes back, we're going to find out. Here he is. Um, how we can. Oh, you thought you were getting off the hook. Not that easy. Not
No,
that
I
easy. I
said don't
know.
shove it in there. Never shove it in there.
I asked the hard questions, and there he goes. Oh my god. Um, so okay, yeah. So like this is like the $1 million question. Like I understand. It seems like maybe a developer has to be involved. If that's true,
Yes.
can
Yes.
you tell me like how do we prepare the files? Like what's as much as we as artists can do to prepare it to for this? Like if it's a visual piece that we know we want to do like recursively, how could we prepare it for a Doors platform? If it's a music piece, how can we prepare it? I understand conceptually
Hmm.
about recursion. I'm going to create these individual assets. I'm going to label them intelligently so I know exactly what they are. And then now conceptually, I understand that I'm going to then basically write some instructions that tells the
Hmm.
program what order to play or display or present the files in. I totally get all that. But like there seems like this giant leap between knowing we can do that and then actually
Actually doing
preparing
it.
the files. Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, just kind of being like an artist and a musician, I feel like the way to prepare it is so if you're working in whatever music program you're working in, like Logic, GarageBand, or
Studio One,
Studio One, yep.
Presonus. Shout out to the team at Presonus. I love you guys.
Shout out. So I feel like when it comes to music, it's kind of like I mean, I can resemble it to Photoshop. You get your layers. You have your layers. And I feel like you can export each stem, each track by itself. Um, and I don't know. So I think MP3 is the smallest music compression. So it's
Yeah.
again how you export each stem, each track. I guess you mute each track going down one by one, and you'll name it. Kicks, drums, 808s, or bass, vocals. And once you have everything exported, I feel like it needs to have the same duration. I,
Yes.
I
The
believe so.
stem. Yep. Stems
Mm-hmm.
have the same duration,
Stem
right?
duration. Yep.
So so you might have a super long you have all the stems will be the same length and there might be
Mm-hmm.
one in the middle and one toward the
Yep.
end, but it's going to be
Mm-hmm.
this long.
So
Yeah.
yep. Yep. So I feel like that's how it should be approached. I believe now
Hmm.
there's a way with HTML to program where it goes. So say if you don't need it to be the full length and you just have the and the bang and the boom and the backgrounds.
Oh, like a loop,
So it's
like
just,
a
it's the same layer, just not the full duration. It's just the duration of the sound or the
sample
vocals.
basically.
The same.
So that's
Yep.
so
Yep.
we're talking about a sample. So
So
in
inscribing
this instance,
samples.
so inscribing a sample, so then the sample is a situation where it could be triggered multiple times, whereas the
Yeah.
stem is going to be triggered only once.
That's true. Yeah. So I feel like it's more dynamic to do just a sample because now you can do more things with it, but it would need to be programmed. So what will happen is technically you just inscribe all the samples and then you go to a developer and say, okay, I have my inscription IDs. Once you have the inscription IDs, now you can program it with HTML. I think you need an iframe. You might need an iframe in HTML to configure how you want the song to go. I feel like that's the starting point.
Okay, well, this is going on my wish list for the platform. I would like
Yeah, yeah, mine too. Mine too. So technically we've done this already with one project called Primal Nomads. They're launching soon, and They inscribed all their recursive traits, and our developers, did the script, the development, and the code for the entire collection. Now, obviously, they had a budget, and to do this for artists, we want to have a artist fund. So we're going to be launching a few events and just getting people around to participate in events and get the funds there so we can provide this to as many artists as possible.
For sure. I mean, I can imagine that something like this would take some little bit of considerable development. But once it's developed, um,
Yeah,
is there, just curious, now this is kind of a founder's question, it's a bit nosy, it's not really any of my business, but I'm going to ask you
get
anyway.
it, get in the business.
Gonna ask you anyway. So, and you'll see my point why I asked this, but like, just like from a founder standpoint, is there a way for you as the founder to monetize a development like this for a developer? So like if there was a developer that's listening that said, you know what, I can build that. Is there a
Mm,
way that you as the founder could monetize that for the developer so that they could have an income from this development that perhaps they made? Um, is it possible? Or,
that's
I'm
a
just
great
asking like,
question. Yeah.
yeah, because like I know how things work on some of the other networks, but the Bitcoin network is really rather new to me. And so I
Hmm.
don't really understand about like network rewards and so on, how that
Well,
works.
now, yeah. So yeah, if a developer built that and say they wanted to plug it into a doors, there could be a fee, like they said, developer fee, and everyone that uses it,
Yeah,
and the developer fee could be like what, $2, $10, something reasonable, and it could go right into the developer's wallet.
that's what I'm thinking. I'm smelling a Bitcoin hackathon. I
That'd be
don't
dope.
know. I just
Yeah,
smells
that'd be
like
really
just
dope.
smells like it's ripe. It's like, I mean, it's like, have you ever picked up a mango? If you're mango
Mm,
shopping,
yeah.
it's like this one, but it's the one that smells the strongest. That's the one that you want to eat that day, right? Everybody,
That's true.
in case you don't know, take it from me, the mango monster. But yeah, so this is what I'm thinking. It's all about like incentivizing this kind of thing because this could really help Adora's grow too, is to have
True.
this kind of development. So we need to have some more developers in the Adora's family.
That's a big yes.
For sure. So okay, I have a question for you, if I may ask. Now, this is it's
Hmm.
directly related to your platform. It's something that I
Yeah.
actually want to do as well.
Okay.
So I know that I want to create a collection. Now, you may have heard that I created a community. It's called Pepavaggio and Friends.
Hmm.
You may have heard, right? And it is birthed from my desire to stay in touch with all the wonderful people that I met at Pepe Fest at People Studios. Shout out to people. Thank you so much for the great party. And I'm looking forward to seeing you next week at the election night party. Friends, if you ever have an opportunity to attend a Beeple party, don't miss it because it is so much fun. I met the most
Nice.
wonderful people. Oh my gosh, I met the most wonderful people. And when you meet people, especially out of town, and you stay in touch, those relationships, they're precious. They're precious. Treasure those long distance relationships. And when you get to see
Yeah.
each other again, it's like so special, like Bit Savage and I, right? Like, it's like when I see him, even on a video call, because we have this foundation of knowing each other in person, it just all the vibes, all the feels. So anyway,
True.
so
True.
right, so I have this community, Peppa Baggio and Friends, and um, it's a whole community of like artists who riff on the Pepe meme art, and everyone is so super talented. And there are some
Mm.
places where we all like sell our art. Like there's like Counterparty, which is like
Yeah.
it's like cultural grail of for like art on Bitcoin. There is like Pepe What the Fuck, Pepe WTF. There's certain places where that are already established where you can go. There's scarcity places you can already go that are well established places to buy art on Bitcoin. I also would like to create a place to put my art on Bitcoin. And so I was thinking that I should I should do that here at Adore since I'm starting a collection,
Cool.
right? Instead of just starting a collection only for my art, why not start that collection that um, my dream collection, my legacy collection, would actually be one that I could allow other people to mint into as well, to inscribe into. I know we
Mm,
talked about that. And so I wanted to ask you, how, if you were me, how will I build the infrastructure for this? And what I envision is like a banner, so to speak,
mm-hmm.
and I'd like other people to be able to mint underneath the banner, kind of like a record label, right?
Mm,
So like you know how like there might be like a huge record label and then you might have an artist who like Eminem, right? Who
mm-hmm.
has his own label.
Got you.
He
Got you.
right? And so this
Mm-hmm.
is like what I'm envisioning because
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I would like to empower the people that are inscribing under my banner. I'd
Mm-hmm.
like to empower them to do to do more if they want to, but
Nice.
under their own child or like how could I do this? Do you kind of feel what I'm trying to
Yeah.
do?
Yeah. It's kind of like I think you use the term white label, or like say if you had your own. I mean, so you can use the site, or you get if you have your own site, um, and just have launch your collection there, to where it's like you brand it, you bring people to the page, and they're inscribing they're minting your art, your release, and it shows that people can also do this on their own end. Is that what you're talking about?
I don't know. Okay, so when we talked about parent-child relationships
Ah, gotcha. Yep. Uh-huh.
and about how you can create children from children.
Mm-hmm.
So that's more what I was thinking of is
Okay.
how, yeah, so like what's the smart way for me to set up my art on Bitcoin on Adore's platform so that there's like a banner and then there's like I want to set up the infrastructure so that I can
On
mint
chain
or
collection.
yeah, so that I can inscribe and then have others inscribe. Is it like through a child? Like how does that work?
Got you. Okay. Yeah, I
Do you
see
know
what
what
you're
I'm
saying.
talking about?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
got you now.
Okay.
So yeah, so like you said in the beginning, you said let there be light. Um, so in the beginning, you said it's good to have your art on Bitcoin, on chain art. And so the next logical thing that's also good is on chain collections, as well as on chain metadata. So this is what you're alluding to,
Yeah.
you're talking about.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so if you created a crest or a symbol or a seal as your first parent, and you inscribe that crest, and then you had an event and said, okay, now I'm going to release my children, these Pepe children, or whatever you title the children. You could have your event for people to mint these children. And once they get that children, now they can use that children as their parent. And it's going to put it in the same family tree, the same collection. So when they release things, it'll be now the grandchildren of the crest that you created. So they can create their own events, and now the grandchildren come out and people buy them and collect them. And then if collectors hold them, they can do that. If an artist gets one, they can release a collection under that and make great grandchildren, and it can keep
Yes.
going. Yeah.
Yes, this is what I'm talking about. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the first thing I would mint is my crest,
Yeah.
and then I would mint I would inscribe rather. So I would inscribe my crest, and then I would
Mm-hmm.
inscribe parents from the
Or no,
crest.
no. So you inscribe the crest, and the crest will be the parent, and then you can
Okay, okay.
launch an event to have the children created. So for people to be able to mint the children.
Yes. And how many children can I create at the same time?
I think up to 20,000 children. I feel like that's. I feel like we're
That's a lot.
that's a
Sorry,
lot.
no,
That's a lot of
I
children.
wasn't even
That's
expecting that. But
oh my goodness.
so
If
how
you're
much does
gonna
it?
have a
So what's the cost, by the way? So like this is another question. It's like I'm so used to like Ethereum, gas fees, this kind of stuff, right? So
yeah.
what is the cost? What's the cost associated with creating parents and stuff?
So usually, so again, that depends on the color profile and the size. I just inscribed something that was like 1 kilobyte for like I want to say $6 or $7. and that's
Oh,
1 kilobyte. Now, usually people get their files down to 10 kilobytes, 10, I think 10 to 20 kilobytes. So if you can get down to 10 kilobytes, maybe 15 kilobytes, you're looking at, I want to say $30.
so this would be
Thanks.
like me inscribing the crest.
Yep. That first
Okay.
file. And then when you do an event, you won't have to inscribe. People, they're going to be minting. So you can think about the file size for them to mint. So say if you want them to do like a $20 cost, under $30, you kind of play with the size. Say, okay, how big is this? How much color? Or is this a another symbol? The children could be a symbol. It could be a Pepe face or
So
a
like for
symbol.
example, here's
Go ahead.
here's an example, right? And I'm not saying this is exactly what I'll do,
What are you doing?
but
This is the gal for right now. Take
I'm
notes.
just playing. But so like for example, right? So let's say I do my first event. I'm picking up the lingo. I'm picking up the lingo, by the
Mm-hmm.
way. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing my first event, right?
Yeah.
And in this event, I am inscribing two children. Uh,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
and so one of them is an image of like a male iteration of Pepe, and then maybe one is
Mm-hmm.
an iteration of a female iteration of Pepe, perhaps.
I think this is spot on.
Okay. Why is it so much fun? Oh my God. Okay. So that's where I'm at, right? So
Mm-hmm.
now some loving collector comes along and says, "Yeah, Maximilian, I'm going to join your crazy circus, woman."
Mm-hmm.
And so they mint, or I'm sorry, they inscribe one of the. So now this is a question. These new uh, children, the
Children. Mm-hmm.
the male and the female Pepe and the Peppa, right?
Yeah.
Are do I have to suggest like a number that are available, or how are they appearing to my collectors?
Yeah. So there's gonna be a few toggles that you can fill in. Which would allow, say, if you say you want them to have one max or three max, you can put a maximum number that they can do, and then they'll see that they'll see the event, they'll see the max they can do, and connect wallet, and then they'll inscribe it to. Actually, I feel like we're not gonna make them have to connect their wallet. They'll just have to fund it, so they'll paste an address to where they want it to go, so destination address. And then if it's a max two, max three, say, okay, this is the destination. I want full allocation, full three. Then they'll just pay however much those three inscriptions cost, and it'll go right to their wallet. And then once the transaction goes through, it'll appear in their wallet. So on the doors, you have a profile. They can go to their profile to see it. They can go right to their wallet to see it. Um, they're new children.
That's cute. Okay, so now they're looking in their Xverse wallet, right?
Experts there, yeah, we're using experts.
And they see this really adorable like Pepe. They've got the boy, and maybe they got the girl too, and they got two, right? So
Mm-hmm.
now, what can they do now with these?
So now, say if for your event, so you're like, okay, you bought a man and a woman, and a boy and a girl. Now you can release your own collection, and these can be your parents. Now the cool thing is, say if they want to be a part of your crew, your family tree, and they want to release something, say, okay, you could do an event where what type of art would the male make? What type of art would the girl make? Inscribe that. Or if you're looking to inscribe some new art and want to play around with Bitcoin, use the male or the female as the parent. So there's different prompts you can tell them to do to experiment. Or if you have your lore, say if you have a male and a female, and then you give them, you make one child for each, you'll get a special something. It doesn't. You don't have. You can make no promises. Web3 is big on no promises, but you can
Yeah,
you can say, this is my first event. The boy and the girl coming out. You can collect them, try it out, and you can come to Bitcoin. This can be your first inscription, and then say you can also release. You can join our family tree, and this can be your first parent-child collection. So it could be more of an experimental approach, you know, And obviously, there can be rewards for people that participate, but you could just lead with experimenting, having fun, and testing it out.
And all of this information, thank you for sharing this, by the way. So all this
Hmm.
information is actually like on the inscription page, like where the metadata is. That's
Yeah,
where I
the
would like
description.
put the
Hmm.
lore and the instructions.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Yep.
and so the idea is that someone could mint these or inscribe these. I gotta stop saying mint. They gotta inscribe these,
Uh-huh.
and then they can take one of these inscriptions,
Hmm.
and how will they then like how will what will they do with it to like take it to the next level? Let's say they go, okay, I want to make some boy Pepes. I want to add them to the Maximilian Pepavaggio and Friends family tree.
Hmm.
So, what would be their workflow?
All right. So,
They've got my thing in their Xverse wallet. They've got my
yep.
maximum. Yeah.
So now, yeah, they have a child now. So now they would need to. Let's see, got a message. Okay, cool. So now they would need to, I guess, generate their children that they want to make. That if they want to make some boys, some girls, they generate it. They get make sure the file size is good, and then
Mm.
they can either inscribe it themselves. Like they just log into a door. They use the child as the parent, and then they're making their grandchildren. Yep. So they could do it themselves, or they could launch their own event. They say, you know what, I want to release my art, these derivatives or these art pieces, and then they can use their own art and use the child as a parent, and then they'll be making grandchildren with their event.
And the grandchildren that they create,
Hmm.
if someone were to go to, if you don't mind, just like what is like one of the, I'm trying to remember the one that we went to last time we did a live stream. We were
Yeah.
looking at the blockchain. What's one of the places we could go? One of the block explorers?
Oh yeah, to see the on-chain collection, the
Yeah.
on-chain family tree.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
They could go to see it first. So obviously, Adores you can go. So on Adores, whenever you click Ordinal, you'll see the family tree beneath it. The other main one is called ordinals.com.
Okay. So like someone could go to ordinals.com and they could see after after they inscribed one of mine,
Hmm. To make your
after they
child.
to make child, and then if they had their own event and they made
Hmm.
their own inscription and they inscribed using the ID from the child that they inscribed of mine,
Hmm.
then when they go on the Explorer, when they see their collection, it will show up in the family tree of
Yeah.
Papabaggio and friends, so that
Hmm.
and this is really I really love this. This is really what I'd love to create because I would love for my art to be connected with my friends because
Nice.
they inspire me and we're all together. I think that would be really I think that'd be really special.
That'd be cool. Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
I think it's the perfect way to experiment and really test out this technology. I think there needs to be more events like this so people can be more familiar. Say, okay, this is what I'm doing. This is how I do it. This is the file size I'm playing with, just to get familiar with it.
Yeah, for sure. I'm thinking, I mean, like, I know conceptually, actually, it's pretty simple. It's kind of like, we're
Yeah.
used to this, right? Uh, but I can see how maybe this could be like a group event. So, like,
Definitely.
yeah. So, like, I inscribe my crest on a doors, and then
Hmm.
I inscribe my male and my female children, right? And
Hmm.
when I'm ready to launch, then maybe I want to have an online event,
Yep.
and
Yep.
then maybe I want to have it where people can like join and have their questions and so on, so that we can do this together. Because um, it's really a matter of just having your art, having your description, having your title, logging in with the wallet in which you own the asset, and then using that inscription ID for the new event.
Hmm.
Is this right?
Yeah, so you're using that inscription ID. So now that it's basically the parent. You're using the child you have. That's going to be the parent for a new event to create more children.
It's phenomenal, phenomenal.
And it's
Um,
it's it's like it's like the Web3 way. So you have on-chain friends now. On-chain collections. You're all learning together, and you're documenting this on Bitcoin.
Absolutely. I want to know, so I see that we have about 30 friends watching us, at least that I can see. There may be more on other platforms like LinkedIn and so on.
Nice.
Yeah, so I want to thank everyone for, hold on one second. My computer, I'm such a nerd, I talk to my computer, and so I have to tell it to not just dictate everything I'm saying sometimes. But yeah, for friends who are watching this, if you have any questions, please definitely type it into the chat, and I would love to read it for Bit Savage because he would love to answer your question. I see we got Bordo Saka in the house. So good
Nice.
to see you, my friend. And I want to say thank you to Christopher Ciarella for chiming in that 20,000 is, in fact, the number of children that we can make at once on Bitcoin. So, yes. So, friends,
So
if you
that's a
have,
lot of children.
that's a lot. That's a lot of kids. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of crackers. That is
I,
a
I
lot of,
I mean, I recommend start small and experiment and work your way up. Just have fun. Start small.
yeah. So I've got some questions for you too about so like let's say we've made the art and it's popping. So is Adora's also a marketplace? How would you recommend that we sell this art? Where are the places that yeah, like
Yeah.
what's
So
your roadmap for the artists? Yeah.
our marketplace is a ways out. It's we have a few more things to finish first before the marketplace. But we have an interesting way to approach the marketplace. Right now, most people use Magic Eden. So what they do is they get it's pretty simple in Magic Eden. You kind of fill in the information and you can upload a JSON file or just a file with like all your collection IDs and then submit it to Magic Eden and they upload it. But essentially, we're going to allow, right up the event for it to populate the marketplace. So I just have to, like I said, on the back end, we want to get this launch pad live and stable and functional. Once that's released, I feel like we want to add one or two more wallets and a few more things. Kind of like what we were talking before, just a few things that allow artists to say, okay, I can use this template to recursively create something or to uh,
Mm.
use my parent and child. Want to release a few templates um, and then release the marketplace. So that's down the line. I feel like our marketplace maybe 2 to 3 months out. Just kind of given time could come sooner, but just kind of given time for us. But we want people to understand the technology, to get their collections ready. So when our marketplace is ready, they'll be ready for the secondary. But I feel like the primary, the launch pad, the primary marketplace it's just needs some little bit of care and attention. Just get people familiar, so it's not just launch and then sell and then resell. It's like you really understand. You as a creator, you understand it, and as a collector, you understand the technology.
Yeah, that's definitely important because when we don't really understand things, we can still get things done, but we're not really innovating at that point. And I really want to innovate, and that's why,
Yeah,
again, that's like my hacker mind, right? If you really understand something, then you can hack around and you can get creative.
true, true.
Yeah, but you have to understand how things work in order to break things, um,
That's
for
true.
sure. Yeah.
That's true.
And in a conversation we had earlier, you said something and I wrote it down. So I just wanted to give you an opportunity to speak on this if you want to. But
Hmm.
I know that you analyzed some past failures of other marketplaces and platforms. And
Yeah.
I just wanted to know, like, because I'm sure, like, so I've known you for a long time, but friends who, right? So I already know, your level of excellence and your level of commitment and devotion. But for friends who are meeting you for the first time,
Yeah.
they might be curious, like, so what are some of the failures that you analyze that you said, oh, I'm not doing that, oh, not doing that, not doing that, like, so what
Oh
are the,
man.
yeah, yeah. So
Let me.
I'm sure this is I bet you learned a lot as you built your platform, and I bet there's a lot of things that you could have done but decided not to do,
Yeah.
and so on. But tell us so that we can be on the page with you and appreciate the work that you put in.
Yeah. I mean, I'll just start from a position of staying small, staying lean. And I think Elon Musk talks about this. Like when Elon came in and fired like 100 people, 500 people, it's like you want to stay as small as possible, as long as possible, even if you're doing amazing, even if you brought in $1 million your first year, put that in a treasury. Don't start hiring more people. Don't expand. Don't scale. Don't scale too fast. Don't go on vacations too much. Like, oh yeah, we made $1 million. Everyone gets a bonus, and we're going to keep doing. Don't think you're going to keep doing the same things. So you make a treasury, and you say, okay, and you give back. A lot of people give Magic Eden flack because they Magic Eden has been around a long time, and people are like, you're just sucking all this value. It's like now Magic Eden has a token coming out, and people are expecting that token to get return some of that value. But I feel like as a founder, you should be able to return the value, and that's kind of one of the reasons why I strategically release on like Instagram or YouTube. It's because like what value am I getting back? Is it equal? So for me, I want to really focus on just exchanging the value on the doors to support the artists, to give them to give them the technology. As even with fees, have grant funds to say, okay, now we made these in fees and we're gonna reinvest into artists. We want to bring in more developers. So we want to bring in more brains to create more. We had at one point, I think 4 or 5 developers working with us, which is amazing. So open, I feel like another key is open sourced, to bring in more minds to say, okay, how you can contribute. Obviously, critique and review the developers, make sure they're trustworthy. Because it's wild. It's behind the scenes is wild, man. Developers out here just trying to scam when it's just crazy. So just making sure, you have a good referrals and good clean code that you can use and stand on. And then, like I said, yeah, not scaling up, not spending the funds, not dwindling it too fast, returning the value, appreciating your users, like truly not just looking at them as numbers. Like, oh, we got 1,000 users, we got 10,000 monthly users. Actually knowing who's using a platform and seeing what they want. It's just immediate feedback. Okay, yeah, we launched. What do you like? What don't you like? And like really diving into that's your heartbeat, the people using your platform. And then obviously being able to pivot because the industry can change. You know, in 2020, 2021, there was a different type of meta, type of alpha. And fast forward to today you got memes, you got AI. It's like you have to be able to pivot quick enough. So if you're big, like if you're OpenSea, maybe you can't pivot as fast because you got too many cooks in the kitchen. When you're small and nimble, it's like what's the company called? Nintendo. Nintendo was able to pivot because they stayed small and ahead. They can build fast. They can pivot. And they can stay ahead of PlayStation. So it's like you got to have these insights to how you approach things, and you got to be innovative. If you saw Donald Trump, I don't know, I don't want to speak politics, but Joe Biden called Donald Trump's followers trash, and then Trump came out with a garbage truck. It was a perfect reaction to just begging for this farce of politics. But you have to be nimble. You have to be able to stay sharp, and have fun. That's really have fun and just don't get greedy. Don't stop. Just don't get greedy.
Don't get greedy. I'm sure it's easier said than done.
Yeah, and listen. And so that's the key. So a part of spirituality. I feel like the goal is the carrot. The goal that you want to do, that's the smaller part of the equation. The bigger part is the journey, the person you're going to become. So you got to realize, oh, even if you're human, okay, you got greedy, just become aware. Say, oh wow, I'm getting greedy. Let me step back. It doesn't have to be, this thing that becomes your ego, your personality. You have a chance to be aware. Say, oh, humans make mistakes. We learn from mistakes. So embrace it and adapt, adjust.
That is really interesting what you're saying. I love that you brought up spirituality.
Got to.
Oh, you say that, right? But everyone doesn't. It's like the least
Mm,
heard, it's like the
mm.
least heard word in the space, spirituality, which is crazy, right?
That's
Because
true.
everything we do in this space is all non-physical. I feel
That's
like,
true.
yeah, I feel like when people speak of spirituality, the first thing I think of is energy, and I think
That's
of
it.
energetic resonance, and I think of like the transfer of energy, and really that's like a lot of what we do. But you know, when you talk about the spirituality with regard to someone's progress in this space, and then
Mm.
you also said in your storytelling, you know, embodying the character that you created, you said, oh, I'm getting greedy now, I have to stop you, because because everyone doesn't necessarily have this level of introspection, especially
Mm.
when shit is not like super hot. It's like, you know, airdrop season, or I don't know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
what, like, you know, but there has to be like, introspection is accessible to
It
everyone.
is.
It
It
has
is.
to be accessible to everyone. So, maybe together, because what you said is like so important. I just want to like highlight this, right?
Mm.
What are some let me see. I don't want to use the word trigger because that would
Mm.
imply that it is by happenstance. But what are some deliberate? I'll use
Mm.
the word deliberate triggers, or some deliberate
Yeah.
things that we can add in to check ourselves. Like, how do you just like not get greedy? How do you, you know, what are some of those markers that can give you the
Yeah.
impetus to check, yeah, check yourself?
Let's dive deeper.
Yeah.
This is where the real alpha is.
Yeah.
You know, working on yourself as a human. So routine and ritual. So if everyone takes a snapshot of their life right now, there's certain habits and rituals that are on automation. You know, we
Mm.
as soon as you so I say when you go to sleep to start your ritual routine, you say, okay, I'm about to go into the dream world. Is there anything I want to work on? Anything I want to do? Anything I want to let go of? You know, you can set your intentions for the dream world. It's not just dreams. We're actually going to different places. And we're for the most part, we're still human. We're still in bodies. So most likely, if you don't believe in life and death and just energy, you might just transfer to another body, you know, after you go here. So you can use that insight to say, okay, in the dream world, I want to work through some things here. I want to get processed. I want to let go of some stuff. So when you wake up, now you're maybe you're in the timeline that you want to be. But usually when people wake up, they tell the same story. You know, this is who I am. I got to go to work. I got to finish this email. So to break that narrative, to break the loop, it's kind of like Neo in the Matrix when he said, "No, you gotta stop the habits, the habitual pathways, and pause and say, hold up, I've been running on
Pause.
auto. Yeah, you gotta pause, and then so what you can do is you can say, okay, what's going right and what's going wrong. You can kind of just look at your life and say, what's happening, what's not happening. You know, I want to set out to do this, and it happened, or I want to set out to this and it didn't happen, and you can see why it did or why it didn't happen. Just becoming super critical, and you're just becoming this observer. There you go. Become the observer of your life. Just observe how things are going. That's a good way to start.
Mm. I love that. I love too that, you know, we're talking about setting intention and the
Mm-hmm.
dream world. It's so super
Mm-hmm.
important. It's amazing. It's like it has to become like a part of like our daily habits. Even for
Yeah.
myself, you know, I go through phases where I completely it's not intentional, but I do go
Mm-hmm.
through phases where I seem to completely divergent from my spiritual work in terms of like, you know, dream journaling. I think a lot of times for me, it has to do with like travel. There's certain, you know,
Mm.
you started off by talking about like routines and habits.
Yeah.
And that's one thing is like travel definitely can throw a person off. But I love this reminder to set intention before sleep. I set intention like every time I sit down at my desk. I set
Mm.
intention even when I go to have a cup of
That's it.
coffee, right?
That's
And
it.
yeah, and
Beautiful.
just like for friends who don't do this yet, it's really powerful. You have to be willing. You have to. You're gonna draw a line in the sand of your life. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you right now. You're stepping into crazy town. But you're stepping into crazy town because you're about to start doing all kinds of magical wizard things. You're going to
That's
start
it.
casting spells over yourself. And the thing that's crazy,
That's it.
it's addictive because it fucking
Mm,
works. It works.
it
When you
works.
do, yeah, it does. It works every time. And the only time it doesn't work, it actually was working, but you forgot to observe it working.
Mm, that's it.
So,
Listen,
right? So
tell
like,
them.
I do stuff like so I have this cup of coffee, right? And
Mm,
I as I'm pouring it into, right, as I'm pouring, I may cast a spell that goes something like,
mm,
I'm going to enjoy this coffee and by the time I'm finished with it, I will have received an idea for
that's it. Yep.
insert thingy, right?
That's it.
And and then I go and I don't think about it anymore. I think about my crush in Web3 or the fancy party I'm looking forward to going to. I think about other things and I
Mm.
just enjoy this. And at some point, like magic, the idea or the thing that I said would happen at the finish of this cup of coffee, it really
It's
does happen.
appears. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, it's straight up crazy town. You have to be willing to go there. But I think these kinds of things are important, especially because
Yeah.
and if you're wondering, like, yo, Maximilian, we're talking about art on Bitcoin. Yes, so am I. So am I. Because we're doing like these really impossible things and
Yeah.
we are taking intangible and we're making it tangible. And everything is a thought
Hmm.
first. And
Tell them.
when we use our imagination and then we put it together with some direction, but not overtly shaping it into a particular outcome, I feel like
Mm,
that's where the power is. And so in order for this magic to really work, we do have to observe because we have to see when is the thing going to show up that we paved the way for,
mm,
right? And this is that spirituality that we're really talking about. And I think that if we take these steps throughout the day, every day, maybe we won't even ever have to have that conversation, which was the impetus of this whole segment, actually, of, am I being greedy? Have I done enough? Have I got enough? I think when we uh, take all the points in between to be deliberate, to be intentional about the kind of ideas that we want to receive. When we take the
hmm
time to like set an intention for how we want to move in the world, even if we don't know how we're going to be able to do it, if we just set an intention for how we want to move in the world.
mm. Audio. I can't hear you. Can anybody hear me? I can't hear. Let me see. Did they cut us off? You were talking. I can't hear anything. They shut it down.
Okay, I'm back, right?
You
I'm
back?
back.
Yep, you're back now. Yep,
Okay.
there you
Yeah, so in case so from time to time, I do have these audio anomalies. Friends, if you're noticing, I'm wearing these wireless headphones.
go. I
And
see.
yeah, so it's crazy. Even when I have an analog setup here too for emergencies, right?
Hmm. Nice.
But even the analog setup, sometimes it does get disrupted. And I get this message and
Wow.
it says, your audio has stopped. And I'm like, ah, you know? But yeah, so like this is like so super important. It's so interesting. So like, where does your interest and where does your inspiration and who got you started on this dream work and cognition with spirituality? Where did this
Oh
come
my
from, Bit Savage? I'm
goodness.
loving this. I'm loving this.
Listen, you're getting so much more to do it right now. No, this is. I feel like I don't know. Maybe I'm a reincarnation of a particular type of energy. If energy can be
Ooh,
created or destroyed, I must be a part of that Yahweh energy, that Hercules energy. Like I feel
Hercules.
like, because I mean, the story of Hercules. Hercules is a god sent down to Earth as a mortal, and or a half god, half mortal, but has to learn. So I feel like me.
Ah,
I feel like humanity. We have infinite potential. We have the godlike abilities. We have imagination. Like we have so much available to us, but we kind of were born in ignorance. We were born with amnesia. So for me, I was like, when I was young, 12, 13, I always knew there was something more. I would look at society and like, this can't be it. Like this just can't be it.
What kind of
So
thing were you seeing? What kind of thing were you seeing that made you say, "Nah, nah"?
I mean, it was just what I was learning. I was learning about mathematics. I was learning about
Mm.
outer space. I was learning about molecules, atoms, cell structure, electrons. And so my path, I said I want to be a neurosurgeon. Like I was really deep into math and science, and just like looking at the observable universe and observable world, I was like, there's so much. There's something someone's not telling me. I'm like, I'm learning all this in school, but I'm like, there's something being left out.
There was a lot being left out, by the
There's
way.
a lot. So at a young age, like 12 years old, I knew that there's a lot being left out. So that's kind of like what started my journey in the past like 2 decades. Just kind of since I took the path of entrepreneurship and being a creator, that's a path to choose. That's not easy.
Oh my gosh. I mean, who's the guy that's rolling the stone up the mountain every day and then the birds eat his liver and then he does it all over again? That's like,
Listen, so it's I would say for me it's just like intuition based. I just kind of follow my internal compass, and for the most part been following my own beat of my own drum, and that's kind of what started my journey. And I want to say the beautiful thing is, like you said, the magic that happens, it reveals itself. And just lately, I realized the beauty of ignorance. Because it's like if we did know everything, I don't think we would be here. It's like
okay, I know everything and I'm here, so whatever. No.
listen, 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 Linda. What's that mean? Listen, Linda. Like if it is true that we are a part of God, a part of Source, but God, like we, there has to be some limitations so we could think we're separate. We need to think we're human. We need to think we're female. We need to think we're male. I need to think I'm a bit savage. We need to have these limitations to like fully believe we're individuals having an individual experience, that we're releasing this art, making this money to pay bills. Like we have to be limited so much to truly believe this story. And that's where ignorance comes in. Um, but once we, and that's kind of cool. Like I've got this ignorance is bliss, ignorance is it. It's like we have the ignorance.
This is a
So
hot take. This take is super hot.
this
I'm
is
like,
this is hot
ah,
take. Yeah,
woo,
this
hot.
is listen. This goes against a
Ignorance
lot what
is
people are
bliss.
saying.
Well, yeah, it does. I'm like, whoa.
And
Oh.
look, so this even goes into the desire. Like once you have a desire, you must know you're going to lead. If you pursue that desire, you're going to lead through a path of challenge and obstacles. I don't want to call it struggle, but you're going to go through a path of challenge and obstacles. Now you have to look at yourself and say, am I strong enough to overcome or go through these challenges and obstacles? Because if not, you can just get a job and work for someone else's dream. But if you want to pursue your own dream, like I said, the journey, the person you have to become to pursue your dream is not a walk in the park. It's not a straight line. It's not a walk in the park. We're getting too deep over here.
No, I love no, that the truth is, look, that's we came for the deep talks, because
uh,
this art, all this, all the art and the blockchain, all this stuff is cool, but
yeah,
there's a difference. There's so many blockchains, there's so many platforms,
yeah.
there's so many options, and I feel like understanding the ethos of the founder
I see.
is really important because I vibe with your ethos, that's savage, and
Well,
you
thank you.
know thank you. And so, my art is an expression of my most idealistic ethos.
Mm,
It's an
mm,
expression of myself. So obviously, or I shouldn't say obviously, but to me, the obvious choice is I want everything in my life to be aligned.
mm,
So these conversations, this conversation especially that we're having, it matters a lot because, one of the first things that we started talking about today was trust.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you know, platforms can make all kinds of promises, and they don't even actually have to make a promise in writing. They don't have to
Sure.
make a promise in a Twitter space. Just by existing, there's an
Mm,
insinuated promise that they will continue to be there.
gotcha. Yeah. Yeah.
And this is a promise that all of us have been buying into, the promise that we all believed, like that there's a store there and it's going to continue to be there. We lost Bit Savage, but he'll be back. So I feel like this conversation about trust uh, is really, here he is.
I'm back.
Uh, I see, I got you. Yeah, so what I'm saying is, like, this conversation that we're having is really important for people to be able to understand the deeper ethos and like who you are as an individual, who you are as a person,
Sure.
because these are the conversations that we never had with
Yeah.
OpenSea. We never had this conversation.
Oh, your name dropping. Your name dropping now.
You know what I'm saying? But these are the conversations that build brand loyalty.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's like,
I
yeah,
now I feel like it all matters. So like years ago, I would think, why are certain companies doing so well, or why do we choose to use certain companies? And most reasons are because they built the company, or they had investors, but they build it, and then people submit to it. They subscribe and use it. So like you said, just like OpenSea, someone built it, they had the idea, they built it, people subscribed to it, they used it, and it was like a general consensus. So it's people get to choose what they want to do. You don't have to play the victim card. You can remove all cards and choose where you want to go, where you want to put your energy, and support the the reality you want to create. It's literally that simple.
yeah, for sure. And I think it's important to be creating in a place where you feel aligned. And I think a lot of times,
Yeah.
in the past, there's just been an absence of information. There's been an absence of persona to,
Mm,
and so it's like if here you are presenting yourself, your ideas, your ideals, etc. Right? So like
hmm.
it's a clear case. Oh, I definitely want to be over there. Yeah, obviously, right? But then you have other platforms where there is no person showing themselves. There is no person presenting their ideals
Mm,
or their ideas, whatever. That's a
I got you.
transactional relationship. So like, with you making yourself available and sharing your lore as an individual, as an artist, as a creator, it adds richness, depth, and much confidence for me to inscribe my artwork on Adores because the platform can become a
Yeah.
part
Yeah.
of my story. It doesn't have to. Like OpenSea will
Hmm.
never be a part of my story,
Well,
and I can.
have you ever
Oh,
used OpenSea?
I know you're gonna say, oh, you did the default contract. You are a part of their story. You just don't.
There's it's there.
Yeah, so I was just gonna say, like, OpenSea will never be a part of my story now that I have my own sovereign tokens, right?
Mm,
Uh, when we all like, I think this is true for all the people that I'm friends with. There was a period of time where we didn't yet understand that there was such a thing as a default smart contract and that all of us were
mm.
minting. We thought that we
Oh,
were building a legacy. We did not
oh.
realize that we were just a trait in OpenSea's collection until Blur came out. When
Oh,
you can just
oh.
hear Bit Savage just cracking up right
Name
now, right?
dropping. More names.
When Blur came out, I remember I rushed to see their UX
Oh, this
because
is getting spicy.
everyone was talking about Blur, and I was like, oh my
Oh
god!
man.
So I had to go, and I was like so excited to see all of my artwork come up.
Oh. OpenSea owns this.
Oh, you should have seen. Like my lip was quivering. My eyes
Oh my goodness.
crying. Ah!
Oh my
It's like,
goodness.
and then I think about like all the big shit I was talking about. Oh my my talking all the big shit, my art, my legacy.
Oh.
And then my lip.
Oh,
Like, when I saw that,
burn it all.
oh, I think we all went through this learning period where we were like, oh, I'm not, oh, and
Burn it all.
we all ran over to Manifold, I want to be alive, please make me immortal. I gotta be immortal.
Mm,
So now I am like having my own legacy. And in this way, like, Manifold is like part of that because when you go to look at like my tokens, whatever, you're on Manifold, right?
yeah, yep,
Looking
yep.
at that, but what if Manifold, what if those guys one day they say, you know what? We've worked so hard and we're just done with all of this. We're just
Just
gonna
done.
we hey, they put in a lot of hours, like
They've done a
so
lot.
much.
They've
They've
done a
done
lot.
so much, and it's like, we can't expect people to work hard for their whole life.
Nope.
You know, I want to see founders retire. I want
Yeah,
to see
yeah.
it. I want to see them going, hey, later, bitches, we're going to live on this island. They earned it, right? So, but what if
That's
that
true.
happens, right? What if that happens? How will my art look, you
Mm,
know, um, when that is over? So, I feel like every artist now, we're all, because we're so smart, we're all planning for this eventuality.
mm-hmm.
We're making plans. And so here, let me ask you this last question.
Mm-hmm.
How would you prepare your art? And this is kind of like I'll couple this. It's like a two-part question. How
Mm-hmm.
would you how would you prepare your art that maybe started on other blockchains? What if,
Mm,
because like I know there's artists that have, we've all experimented, right? And maybe you got a collection
yeah.
on Polygon or something on Ethereum mainnet, or like you got art all over the place, and many of it, the front end is snafu because the marketplace exists no longer, but you do have
Yeah.
the IPFS link or whatever like that. So that's like part one. What would you say to an artist who's looking to figure out what to do with
Mm-hmm.
all of these loose ends? And uh, a B part of the question is, I remember you saying something about ordinals, about burning things.
Yes.
So
The great
lay it
exodus.
on us, lay it on us. Yeah.
I mean, I'm a big fan of reverse engineering. So always looking at the end game is a good way to approach technology and things in life when you're getting to like society. So if you have things in different wallets and art everywhere, just make an Excel sheet. Say, okay, this wallet has this. Make it do your own like accounting or like where things are. And depending on the story it is, if it means something to you, you can either make a duplicate on Bitcoin or you can burn it and say, now, so here's the thing. So if you have collectors and collectors have your art and you have your art, you can say, hey, listen, I'm going to archive this. I'm going to make a collection on Bitcoin. I'm going to burn it all on Polygon. If you don't like Polygon or if you don't feel Polygon is going to be as strong as Bitcoin, you can burn it from Polygon. Um, and there's like some things that have atomic swaps, but I say just burn it. Just say I'm going to be. You can send your art to this address. You can have an event. Say, hey, the event has a burn address. They can send it there. Then they can mint a new one, or you can airdrop them a new one on Bitcoin. So there's two different ways you can go about that. So you burn and re-inscribe, recreate on Bitcoin. Now the cool thing with Bitcoin is they do allow delegation. And so what delegation is, say if you have an art piece on layer two or Ethereum, and you reinscribe it on Bitcoin, you just reinscribe it once on Bitcoin, and delegations like limited editions. It lets you make more copies at like fraction of the cost. So I think 1 kilobyte, pretty smaller than 1 kilobyte. So now you can airdrop 10 or 20 or 30 or 100 of that one art piece you inscribed to your collectors, to your friends and family. You can do an airdrop of a new piece with delegation. But I would say just like really go through everything, your whole catalog, your Web3 catalog of art, and see what you want to burn, what you want to recreate, what you want to get rid of. Talk to collectors, and this is a way of kind of like housekeeping. You're kind of going through everything you've been doing it over the past few years. This is it. This is now we're in the big leagues because now that Bitcoin's entered the conversation, I feel like everyone should restructure how they're looking at digital collectibles. In the future, most likely it's going to be multi-chain. In the future, you might not even know what chain it is. Who knows? They might the UX may be like real simple, it's sleek and sexy. It's just you got a wallet, you got these items, and you own them. We'll see because the way Meta, Facebook is going, I don't know if they allow other blockchains to enter. They may have their own blockchain. So just be careful with how Instagram and other programs or platforms introduce blockchain. It may be their own. It may be an open sea kind of situation where it's their own platform or own chain.
Wait a
Um,
minute. How did we get into Instagram world? Wait a minute. Are you are you just dropping some sneaky alpha? Are you saying Instagram
I'm
blockchain is coming? Did you just tell us that there's an Instagram
well.
blockchain? I
Instagram has already
swear you
done
just
stuff. Listen, Instagram has already done stuff, and they
what's
backtrack. So
what's the Instagram blockchain?
I don't
Meta's
even.
blockchain. So that would be that would be a Meta
What were they
blockchain then.
using? It was Meta, but I think they were using like Flow or
Oh.
Polygon. They were using something, but
Ah.
Instagram had some stuff. But most likely, as the VR and as metaverse becomes uh, more used and more mature, they're going to roll out some stuff, some solutions for blockchain. I think Amazon has its own blockchain. So like a lot of these bigger companies, they're experimenting behind the scenes. They're releasing tokens and digital items. They're doing it like slowly.
Yeah, what are your
Um,
feelings on this though? Like, it's kind of like, Karen, it's like, Karen, what are
listen,
you doing?
I say
Come
stay
on.
sovereign as possible. So even if a Sotheby's, even if a Facebook,
Yeah.
even if they release their own blockchain, still stay sovereign and say, hey, listen, I'm minting this on Bitcoin or I minted this here. It's my contract, like with Manifold, I have my own contract and I want to sell my own art. So you have to fight for yourself in all of these situations to where you say, I have my own wallet, I have my own items. And now they may say, hey, okay, we only allow our own items on our platform. Say, well, if you want to sell my
Right.
art, you gotta know how to negotiate. And this is where business comes in. You just know how to
Mm,
negotiate. And say, okay,
mm.
I'll this is what I want. Bring your terms. And you can use ChatGPT or a lawyer or a friend and say, hey, this is what I want to do. I'll release a piece of artwork on your platform. Um, but if someone wants to claim the physical, they'll have to burn that token and claim my token and get this physical. So you have to know where
Mm.
you can position it in your power. Because like we were talking about spiritually, like this is all energy. So it's not something that's outside of you. This is kind of an internal conversation. So say if you put out there, I want $1 million. And OpenSea says, okay, you got to mint on our contract and sell your art here. And you'll get $1 million. Like it's never going to come how you think it's going to come. So be
Mm,
be careful what desires you put out into the universe because
mm.
you might say, hey, I want a house. And then, okay, we got to flood the whole East Coast and get you to the West Coast and get you a house.
Yeah.
Like the universe is funny, has a very good sense of humor. So just be careful what you ask for. But
Mm.
yeah, so like we were saying, just stay as sovereign as possible. As we move into the next 2 or 3 years, as AI gets more advanced, just know create where you feel there's trust, create where the history is proven. Bitcoin's pretty much proven now, and take your time. You don't have to rush into anything. Take your time and have fun. Like I know people are, especially in Web3, people are like really hype and they try to get you in the FOMO. Oh, let's do this fast, do this quick. It's going up 1,000%. Just take your time, pace yourself, get a group of friends, talk, and have fun.
Absolutely. I have two questions. They're quick ones though.
Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Number one is, what are the chances of perhaps an API? So, like for example, I have
Mm-hmm.
my own website, and what are the chances of an Adore API that I could,
Yeah,
embed? Yeah,
we
because
got we have two.
I know
We
that's
have
what
two
everybody.
APIs.
Because I got to give a shout out. I got to give a shout out to Woman NFT because Woman
Uh,
NFT was asking for this. She wants this.
Nice. Okay, yeah.
Yes.
So we have two APIs. So what we're going to do is when we deploy them, we're going to do a few events on Adores. So the events we do, they're not going to be too big. So we're going to come to everyone that's supporting us first. Say, hey, there's our events. And for me, I want to do like about 9 events. I want to just like really stress test our platform and our APIs. And once those are completed, then we'll say, hey, ready for public use.
That will be amazing. So, in your vision of the Adores APIs, what would I be able to do?
So you'll be able to allow people to connect a wallet, use a wallet and mint from your own website or wherever, you set up. And as well as they can mint and inscribe. So two things they can do.
Mint and inscribe, meaning that they could collect an artwork that I've already created, and they
Mm-hmm.
will be able to create more children with an inscription that they have from myself.
Yep.
That's amazing. So, like, are we looking at like 6 months from now or longer? Or
I mean, hopefully 6 hours. Well, so we're gonna no. Listen. So I want to do these events first.
yeah.
So yeah, I want to release these events, and some of the events probably I want to keep them like super low cost, like 0.000 like 2 3 BTC, just some super low to where people can just load up a wallet and test and like collect these things. Actually, I want to do my artwork. Like I'm going to do these tests with my actual artwork. Um, I'm like leaking so
Yeah.
much alpha right now.
Yeah, no, this is great.
But
We're here for the leaks. We're here for the leaks.
see, so I want to put up. I got tons of stuff I want to do. So these 9 events, all our early supporters, we just want to have fun and get them, using and collecting. And then we have a lot of people like behind the scenes, like wanting to use our APIs, and we
I'm
just want to make
definitely
sure.
one person.
Yeah, we want to make sure that they're as good as possible. So I think a week or two, just just kind of getting those events out the door, and then yeah, we're setting you up with the APIs.
Oh my gosh, Bit Savage, this is like so incredible. And like I'm totally gonna put you on the spot here. But that's what that's what friends
No,
are
it's all good.
for.
It's
That's
all
what friends
good.
are for, right? So when the APIs are ready,
Hmm.
what are the chances that we could have like a tutorial like video thing? Like
Hmm.
I volunteer if you would like a guinea pig so that someone could show like how easy it is to embed the
Yeah,
API, get it working on the website. That would be pretty killer.
listen, let's set it up because the thing is, like, once the launchpad goes live, we have I think there's a lot of updates going live with this launchpad as well. So once
Oh,
the launchpad and updates go live, I want to make like a lot of educational videos. So I want to put someone on your doors, YouTube, like you can even do them. We want to encourage
I would love
others,
to.
yeah, to like use the platform, make a video, say, oh, go through it on the video and saying this works, like, oh, I caught this, or this doesn't work, or you know what if they change this? Like just kind of going through and nitpicking as critical
Yeah.
as possible. Um, yeah, so that'll be very soon. Let's set up a date. So like we'll get the launchpad live, we'll get the events live,
Yes,
we'll
let's
get the
do it.
API. Yeah, let's do all of it.
Let's do it. Okay, this is amazing. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'll be sure to hit up all my artist friends who've been asking for this. I can think of it right off the top of my head. Definitely Woman NFT and
Okay,
yeah, Patrick Amadon. Like I know he also was saying like something similar that
nice.
we need to be sovereign. We need to be selling sovereign and
Listen,
showing sovereign. So
and so you said about 30 people watching. I think like we
37
don't.
now.
Oh, it's creeping up there. Oh no, it's about to explode. So before things get too big and crazy, I feel like we all early artists, we can do these events and we can do like small collections of like 30, collections of 100. Um, Even if you do like a collection of like 600, you can allow people to get like 10 of them. So it's like 60 people. So like it can be things where like people that's like the early, they say if you're early you win. So I think do it, craft your event to where no more than 100 people can like really collect maybe 10, 100 times 10 is 1,000. So if you craft it to where there's 50 people participating, they can get 2 or 3 5 pieces of your artwork. it's really cool because it's like they're getting a tremendous value. You know, they're getting 10 pieces of your artwork, but they're also learning and having fun. And this kind of goes to Runestone. I don't know if you were here. You were here during Runestone.
I was here,
Yeah,
but
but
I didn't really like, I'll be honest with you. I was like, ah,
yeah, yeah. No, no, I know. Most people were. So, but the thing is, you were
I
early.
still don't understand it. Still don't
Listen,
understand
but you were early.
it.
So
Yeah.
this is kind of this history repeating itself. You know, people are
Mm,
here. They're early. They're not going to understand this, but if they
mm,
participate in these early events, who knows what's going to happen? You know, next year.
mm,
I can only imagine.
mm. So, hmm. So, like, when you're talking about creating this event and you're talking about create like 100 pieces and encouraging people to have multiples, we're talking about like artworks that are costing like under $10 or like
Yeah.
even less.
So you can do, and I like one of ones. So say if like for me for a painting, I do symbols. So I can do paint different. I could paint 100 different type of faces. Um, and
Actual physical paintings.
I can do it physical. Now, see, I have a sketchbook here, so I can do the
Yeah.
paintings, and I can do like, let me see, 3, 6, 9. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4 by 4. I can get 20 on one page. So like 5 pages, I can make different faces, and then I could photograph them and upload them as a different file. So that's like 5 pages. That's 100 pieces of art. And I can load all those files, make them WebP, like get them really small, and it will be black and white. So it'll be 100 black and white images of these paintings I created. And that's possibly the first event. And then I can allow people to get 10 at a time. So 100 paintings, that's like 10 people if they all get 10.
And they're each one of a kind.
And they're each one of ones. Yeah. And I can
Okay.
charge 0.0001 BTC. Like I don't have to do a major, price grab for this. Just like something low to like really test our APIs, our system, and it's kind of a treat, a reward for being here early.
So how would you and also understanding like you can always do like recursion and you can add color later and if you wanted to like if you wanted to do
True,
that, right?
true. So you can either inscribe your traits yourself, or you can say, I have 200 traits and have my communities inscribe my traits. So you can have an event where the people inscribe your traits, your friends, your family, the supporters, the collectors, everyone will basically, they'll see a trait, they'll see 1 or 2 traits in their own wallet, but collectively, you can take all those inscription IDs and craft a full image and say, okay, whoever has 3 traits or whoever has 10 traits will actually get the full image.
And
That's
so
a
like
that's a
yeah, I'm like, yeah. See, like every when you say stuff like this, like I never thought about this kind of like
gamification.
interoperability.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I never thought about like these different kinds of things that you could do because I never really thought about art on Bitcoin having like the same kind of like I want to say like dashboard,
mm.
like a way to like track all these things and to do things.
There's so yeah, we're in the beginning. We need great minds and we need innovation. So you're as you see more, like you said, you can know more. Say, you know what, let's try this, or let's take this away, let's add this.
Yeah. Yeah, this is so interesting. So like and finally it's like when we had a live stream the other day, you were mentioning this artist who you like in the space called Pac. And
Yeah.
yeah, and the different projects that he did, the innovation that he created and
Hmm.
how the Ash community uh, really still values these early projects.
Yeah.
And
So
so
Pac is almost like Satoshi. Like we don't know if Pac's a man, a woman, or a group.
yeah, so along the same line, so I'm thinking about like these artworks that we were just talking about, like I know,
Hmm.
for example, the example that you gave of drawing 100 one of or yeah, 100 one of ones.
Hmm.
So now, how would we parlay or describe this project to
Mm,
friends, like, how do we make it something worth having? How do we make it something valuable? Because honestly, just myself, I don't want to
mhm.
buy a test. I don't want to buy your test. Okay.
So
I'm not buying anybody's test. Okay.
I wouldn't call it a test. I would say I'm releasing my art on the doors.
Okay.
This is so for me, I haven't released any of my paintings really. This is me releasing my first artworks
Hmm.
on I think any chain. I released a little bit of paintings on I want to say Engine and Ethereum. So but this is like
Okay.
officially this would be a collection, my first collection on Bitcoin. I mean, you can just say my first collection on Bitcoin is coming.
Genesis.
My Genesis collection is coming. And you can say it's a test if you want, but it's a Genesis
No.
collection.
Genesis. That's why I was teasing you. I said I don't want to buy anybody's test now. Genesis collection. I want to buy
uh
that.
yeah. Like people when people released People's did $1. And that was technically that was a test, but it was like market what's it called? You're finding your market.
$1.
Um you
Where
don't
was
remember when
I?
people
I, I
yeah,
I must have
a
not been
dollar.
around. I must not
It
have been
was on
around.
Nifty Gateway. It was $1.
I think that was just a little before my time.
Okay.
I think that was like 2021 or 20
It might have
early
been 2020. It was early.
2020. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when
But
I was not around, Nifty Gateway was already at its height before I came onto
okay.
the scene. Yeah. So
So
I
let's
missed.
let's let's call it that. So this is called market discovery. And
Aha.
some artists how they do their market discovery, they either do an open edition or they do $1 or they do free. And then they do market discovery to see who's interested. Obviously people could have did way more than $1, but it was just to see who would respond. And it was a huge response.
That's interesting. It's like something like that. It's really interesting. It's like the flip side to that is if you're not Beeple, right? You put your art out for $1 and nobody buys it. You're like,
No, you
oh, because
so
sometimes the price point can hurt you. People see that's $1 and they go, I don't want
mm,
that bullshit.
no, yeah. So this is what you do. So marketing, so business and marketing is another art form. So to make your recipe, so like for me, I'm gonna craft up something, like you said, for my Genesis collection. I'm gonna say just kind of craft the wording and the lore about what I'm doing and tell my story. And then just like in the spirit of Satoshi, you just see what Satoshi did was build something incredible, then spam and flooded all these forums. You got to put yourself out there. You got to tell everyone. You got to say, hey, you got to really believe what you're doing means something. If it means something to you, you should be telling everyone every waking moment.
That's where I think a lot of artists fall down.
Yeah, yeah.
And, I don't know if it's because we have expended like the bulk of our energy just putting the thing out,
Mm.
or if it's, running out of time, right? That's like another
Well,
issue.
I would say planning and preparation. So if you're an artist and you want an energetic exchange from what you're doing, you gotta take a step back and like really look at your machine. You gotta build your own machine, and you have to power it up. So as an artist, if you're not eating good, if you're not taking care of yourself, if you're not exercising, if you're not
Mm.
reading, if you're not taking care of yourself, you can be out of energy when you after you create your art. Um, but I've been taking cold showers for the past 3 years. So I can recommend breathing, deep breathing, yoga, cold showers, fruits and vegetables. Like you need to in talking to people. Like you really need to pour into yourself, energize yourself. So when you make art, it's not taking all of your energy. It's just like your cup needs to be so full that when you do stuff in this earthly world, it's just extra. Like you need to fill yourself up. And when you make an art piece, it could drain you a little bit, but you need to know how to recharge.
Definitely. I love that. I love that. Oh my gosh. Oh, I saw you there for a second, Fit
Oh, there we
Savage.
go.
Yes, there
Oh,
you
oh,
are.
I'm
Yes,
back and I'm moving.
you're back and you're moving.
I
Yeah,
was
we
in a
got.
different dimension. I was in another dimension.
Oh, it's so good to see you, my friend. Yeah, we got Romulus was like, He was like, "What's up? It's just a static image." I'm like, "No, he's live. I promise." It's so
I'm
good to
live.
see you, my friend. Live, yeah. So, I'm sure you have a lot of really important stuff to do today. But before we go, is there anything that we didn't talk about that you'd like to bring up or discuss on any topic?
We covered a lot. We covered spirituality and art on Bitcoin. So and we kind of went into physical activity and working out. Like we've
Yeah,
covered some good stuff.
including the
Um,
dream world and dream work in the dream world.
and ethereal like this. I'm complete. We covered a lot.
For sure, for sure.
I
So
only
I know that
I
there might be. Mhm.
I would only say whatever you want, it is possible. If you feel like in life, like you said, some artists on Twitter, they can be like, oh, I'm trying all of this and it's not working out. It's again, I'm gonna dive deeper, I'm gonna dig into this. Know what you want. If your desire is to sell in Web3, think about the person you have to become. It's not about selling in Web3, it's about the path. Are you in all, what are you doing? Are you marketing every day in a lot of forums, or are you thinking of a different approach? You have to become a certain person to get the desire you want. It's not about the end goal. It's about who you need to become.
Ooh, that is just absolutely so
I'm
on.
pushing back on everyone.
Um, who do we need to become? Now,
That's it.
let me ask you a follow-up, if I may.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so going on this, it's about who we need to become. How do you redefine, how do you draw, how do you illustrate your vision of who you need to become?
Mm. I would say start with your intuition
Mm.
and just observe yourself. Get a journal. You should have 2 or 3 journals. So when I was doing cold showers, before I started my cold showers, something inside me said, I need to do cold showers. And I said, no, I don't. I love hot water. I pushed back. I pushed back.
I
Like,
had
nope.
the same conversation with myself
Said,
too.
we're not doing that one. But something kept inside me just, and then it became a knowing. I said, okay, I know I need to do this. Then it was a question of how am I going to do this? So have a friendly, be gentle to yourself, be patient with yourself, be kind to yourself. Um, and don't feed what you do want, starve what you don't want. So if you have a habit of ruminating, if you have a habit of being a victim, if you have certain habits that you don't like, if you're not happy with the person you are, starve that part that doesn't serve you and feed the part that does serve you. So if you want to be thriving, if you want to be a multi-millionaire, be comfortable with your desires and know you can get them and feed that. And then pay attention to your intuition because it's going to show you signs and symbols all day. You just have to pay
Mm.
attention. And then, so for me, I paid attention. And then for me, my symbols, I saw 2 videos. One video, I saw a guy doing the cold showers. In the beginning, I said, no, I'm not doing that. Then I saw Wim Hof. And Wim
Yes,
Hof,
that's my guy. When Wim Hof does it, it makes you want to jump in, doesn't it?
so Wim Hof had a 30-day challenge. And this is another
Hmm.
key, slow and steady. You don't have to be all empowered and motivated and just jump in there 10%, 5% a day, 20% a day, slow and steady. So with the Wim Hof challenge, it was 15 seconds in the cold water, then 20 seconds, then 30 seconds. So it was a slow and steady, gradual thing that I say, I can do this. And that's another key for everyone. Slow and steady, you can do it. So to become the person you need to be or you want to be, just it could be push-ups every day. It could be a piece of fruit every day. It could be more salads every day, just something slow and steady, and to eventually you'll be the person who you want to be.
I love it. Oh, Bit
Listen,
Savage, you're so
listen. I'm over
fantastic.
here. I'm over here working on myself. Like so, I am the person that I needed to become. Like
Yeah,
it took years.
it's amazing. Well, when I first met you, still amazing. Like, I wonder,
Yeah.
we never had this conversation back then, but like, I wonder, like, who were you trying to become when I first met you? Is it the same person
Ah,
that you are today?
hmm. For me, I always knew I was never defined. I never, even though I was like good at film and wanting to be a film director. I just wanted to tell stories. So I never wanted to be had aspiration to be a Hollywood film director. I just wanted to work with good people and tell good stories. And that's kind of a loose definition of what I wanted. And so even today, like I want to build an advanced civilization, but it's loose. You know, it's not like I need to be Elon Musk. It's I'm open and I'm looking at the signs and symbols of what's out there, and I'm doing my part. I'm learning. I'm showing up. I have gratitude. I have appreciation. I have a family. You know, I'm raising my children, so I'm not taking nothing um, as lightly. Like, I'm really appreciating and having gratitude for everything. And that's a flip. Like before in the past, I was like the Truman Show, this loop, like waking up, going to sleep, eating. But then the shift was having gratitude for the sun on my face, the air I breathe, the water I drink. You know, just the small things.
Absolutely. That's so fantastic. Oh my gosh. And I know it must feel good to wake up excited every day to continue building on your dream.
Oh my goodness, it's a roller coaster. It's it's like being a founder of Web3. It's not for the faint of heart. But if you can make it, I'll say it's worth it.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Fitz Savage, it's been so wonderful talking with you. It's almost now 10 o'clock. I'm
Oh
sure
my goodness.
you have to do some things, but we'll be back on Tuesday, is right?
Tuesday. Yep.
Okay, we'll be back on Tuesday, and maybe we'll do a live Twitter space. Maybe we'll do a live stream. It all depends on like what we want to look at
Nice,
on
nice.
Tuesday. Yeah, but
Wow, we
I'm
got
looking forward to seeing
35
you.
people, man.
43,
Whoa, what?
43.
Oh, it's like people are like, tune in.
Yeah, 43 by my count. And that's just like what I can see here live. We're on LinkedIn,
Oh
X,
yeah,
and
true.
YouTube.
Okay,
So there's some people that I'm not able to count. And one thing that's great is, this video is recorded, so people will continue to
come back.
discover it as we go on. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but I want to
See,
release you here. Oh, go ahead.
no, no, I appreciate everyone tuning in. I see some of the chats, see some of the messages, derivatives. Yep. I appreciate all the energy. I appreciate for everyone showing up. Maximilian, thank you so much for your time and thank you for doing this and allowing your platform, to be of use. And I feel like this is like I feel like we're putting in the work, so it can only go up. Like much love to everyone.
Absolutely. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. I appreciate everything you're doing. It's a great honor for me to get to know you in this way, and I really appreciate the opportunity to allow me to introduce you to the rest of the world and our friends, because I feel like as an artist, we're looking for places for our art to live that also aligns with who we are as individuals. So,
Truth.
yeah, so this is a wonderful alignment, and it's always wonderful to share energy with you, Bit Savage, and I look forward to seeing you.
Hey, listen, my back, my back.
Yeah, you're back. I was like, don't leave me on
I'm
the edge of
out.
my seat. What are
I'm out. Hey, listen.
you
No,
gonna
y'all,
say?
y'all can use those other platforms if y'all want. If you want to build a good legacy, if you want to have friends, if you want to like really dig into Bitcoin, if you're really about the Web3 life, come to open a door. We got so many doors over here. Maximilian's got some stuff coming out. Maximilian's got her I want to say Genesis collection. I know she released some stuff on
Yeah.
Bitcoin, but it's
Oh,
it's about
yes.
to, it's about to change. So
It's
when
about to
Maximilian
change.
releases something, get your Bitcoins ready. Bitcoin's going up and down. If it's at 66,000, $60,000, 6,500, load up on some Bitcoin. Get ready for what's coming. That's all I'm going to
Get
say.
ready.
Just get ready.
Get ready. Get ready. Get
The
ready, friends,
early
because we are doing it.
luck favors the early. That's it. That's all I got to say.
There it is. You heard it first here with the founder himself, Bit Savage, and I'm so looking forward to seeing all of our art together under a same banner And come join us next week. Bring your questions, bring yourselves, and we look forward to seeing you then talking about your art on Bitcoin.
Yeah, I might just call it a test to throw people off. So yeah, we're just on a test.
No, you better call it a Genesis.
I'm gonna throw people off because that's the thing. Like
No,
when unit listen.
no.
You remember Uniswap? You remember the Uniswap airdrop?
Yeah.
Uniswap, they were selling socks. They're like, yeah, we're just gonna sell some socks. They're NFT socks, and the people that got those NFT socks, they got like I want to say 6 or 7 figures airdrop. Like they got a huge airdrop. But
What?
you can't tell people. You can't tell them all the goodies. You gotta say, yeah, it's just a little
Okay, but
test.
but
It's just a little test.
no, but socks is not the same as a test. If you're like, we're gonna make some NFT socks, I might want those. I don't
I don't care about NFT socks. That's why I didn't get them. I should have got them.
know. Oh, but were they the little assets, like little socks, like
Yeah,
little?
they were digital and physical, so you could get the socks and get the Uniswap socks, even the
I
crypto
can't
punks
believe you
when they
didn't
were
want the
free.
socks.
I
I
didn't get
can't
no
believe you
free
didn't want
crypto
the socks.
punks. Listen.
You know how I learned. You know where I learned about the value of socks is at YouTube.
Okay.
Because at YouTube every now and then,
Uh.
one of the knighted executives would come out, and give you some YouTube swag, but you had to
Oh,
earn that
oh
swag.
yeah, that's
You remember you had
true.
to earn that swag. If
That's
you got the,
true.
if you got the YouTube socks, like Chris himself actually gave me the socks. And when he
Nice.
walked, he came like, for friends who haven't been to YouTube studios, there's like this huge, beautiful, like this huge open space where there's like a
Mm-hmm.
bar and coffee,
Uh
place to
huh.
sit, work. There's like it's just a huge open space. But there are like doors where, only the executives can go,
So many
right?
doors.
Yes, so many doors, right? And so there's like this door like on the far side of this open space, right? And I already knew I was getting some YouTube swag,
Nice.
for
Nice.
my presence there. And I knew it was coming and he goes, wait right here for me. I'll be right back with the socks. I'm
Nice.
like, ah!
Nice.
And there was a group of people that was standing there listening. So we were all standing there. Only me and another person were getting the socks, but everyone was
Mm.
waiting to see. He walked from the entrance door over to where we were standing, and it was like, what is that?
Yo.
What is that? What is that?
Oh.
Because you can't buy YouTube socks. You can't buy any
Got an
YouTube
idea.
merchandise. Y- Oh, Adore's
Oh, I got
socks.
an idea. Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing.
Okay.
Don't say nothing. Shh.
My lips are sealed. My lips are sealed. But so it's a really big deal, to have YouTube swag. If you see somebody wearing YouTube swag, like if I have the headband, I got the socks. If you see somebody wearing YouTube swag, it means that they got it
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
from their hard work,
Mm-hmm.
because you can't buy that stuff. So
Mm.
that's why when you and so like the reason why I tell this story is because it was like I was new at YouTube. I was new at YouTube Studios, and I never saw people get so excited about socks. I was like, in my mind, I was like, "Oh, y'all standing around to see what my socks look like?" It's what I was thinking,
Oh
because
wow.
I didn't understand. But then when he put them in my hand, and I was like, "Oh, these are mine," and I pulled them up all the way up to my kneecaps, right? Everyone was like, "Oh, you got the socks, you got the socks." It was like my first taste of like it was that PFP energy. It was
Nice.
like, "Oh, you got the
Nice.
mutant ape with the boogers," it's
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm. Let's do it. Yeah.
yeah,
I
so
love.
so
I'm a bit of a
uh,
fashion designer, so I love swag.
I think if you created a test
Oh man.
that inspired by, this shared experience, it could be really hot. I'm not gonna make the same mistake that you made with Uniswap. Okay.
Now, I mean, so here's the cool thing too. The cool thing is, like in the beginning, a lot of people might have said, all digital, only digital. Everything's gonna be digital. But the physical still means a lot too. Like I've gotten some physical artworks from the Web3 space, and it means so much. So the physical still means just as much as the digital, if not
Yeah,
more.
absolutely. I think more, because the
Mm.
digital is great in terms of like transferability. You can't spill coffee on it. and when you transfer it to the next owner, it's in just as good a shape. Which, of
Yeah.
course, we can't say the same thing for paintings and pictures and postcards and things. But
Mm.
physicals matter a lot. Like I still have my physicals here. I'm going to show you this one from Max Capacity.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, so this is from Art Basel. Not and like just to show you how much physicals look. I didn't even put them away, right? So these are
Wow.
my physicals from Max Capacity.
Wow.
So he was giving these out, and I
How
was
many
actually how many?
was it, like 100? How much he was giving out?
They're all different. I don't know how many he actually.
Oh.
And so like this is like, oh, these are so
You
good.
gotta
And
get
so
those
like
framed.
I
Yo.
know, I know, right? And so so the reason why they're not framed too is I still have my when I go to a conference, I like make kind of like an installation and I put all the special things. So every time I walk past that table, I'm experiencing my Art Basel experience again. Art
Nice.
Basel's coming
Nice.
again in December. So now I'm going to have to take all these things from the last Art Basel and I'm going to put them in a shadow box and
Nice.
arrange them and stuff like that. And then the new Art Basel stuff will be on there. In my other room, I have another table and it's all the things from Pepe Fest. So that's why I
Beautiful.
like,
Yeah.
yeah,
The
so like these
physical.
physicals,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I see Max Capacity every day. Max
For
Capacity
sure.
is always on my mind several times a day. Max Capacity, DeSalter, like all of my friends whose things I have, Crypto 2009. I have if I have your collectibles, they're sitting out. Sabette, I have, Jimena Buena. I've got everyone. Jimena Buenavida. I have her scarf. Oh, oh yeah, exactly,
They got some physical
exactly.
somewhere around there.
Yeah, so these physicals they matter a lot. I saw DeSalter has some physicals that he was showing that he's doing some I think some watercolors. Those look really cool. So physicals, I think they matter a lot, especially because when you get them as commemoratives, it makes a huge difference. Like these, like Max actually put this in my hand. So it's
Mm.
like, so are you making some physicals? Your face, your face.
You heard it first on Maximilian's Galfa. Physicals are coming, and
Oh,
they're going to be limited editions. There's going to be you can't buy them anywhere but a door on a test.
on a test. That is so funny.
Oh, this is dope.
I'm so excited. Well, I hope that I hope that I'm on the allow list for these tests. So is there such a thing as allow list in the Bitcoin world? Do we still do allow list or is that an Ethereum thing?
Yeah, so no, you need to build the website to do that. I think we're gonna allow it in our first release. I hope we do.
I'm gonna
it
I'm gonna yeah,
might be
where's
a
the
free for all. No, but
Oh,
we
okay.
we have it. Yeah, so it's just the back end, just kind of allowing a field for you to input addresses to allow them to get them. So yeah, so in Bitcoin they do this. Magic Eden does it. All the other platforms most of the bigger platforms they allow it to where you can do. I think it's a CSV file where you can input the addresses, the VIP, the guarantee, first come first serve, general public. So they have that on Bitcoin.
So this is something that's good for everyone to know, right? So like when you come to the Adorbs platform, um, you can still use like all the Magic Eden tools to list and everything.
Essentially, yeah. So if you release a collection on the doors, you will have to for right now go to Magic Eden to upload your collection to sell it. If you want to do secondary, just for now.
Right on. Yeah. I mean, Magic Eden is a place that so many people love, so those tools are familiar.
They're 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 yes, Magic Eden is cool. They're doing their job. That's all I'm gonna say. Can't wait for those tokens to get the airdrop. Come on, Magic Eden, airdrop those tokens.
Oh, so this is a true thing that's happening? The airdrop?
Yeah, so they're testing that token just released, so people can. do the test net, and their token is coming. I think in a couple weeks. Well, they haven't announced a date yet, but it's coming.
So Magic Eden, they'll have their own blockchain? It looks
I they didn't. They're like being real secretive. So
oh.
either it's 8 chain or Solana. It might be Solana. They may have said Solana. I think in a tweet they said Solana, and I don't know how you
Mm.
feel about Solana, but
Solana is so my opinion comes from the information that I got and thought about and processed. I want to give a shout out to James from Invest Answers.
mhm.
Everyone, you should be definitely watching James Invest Answers on YouTube.
Okay.
But yeah, he's so amazing. But he did a deep dive into the Solana network. We talked about like speed, how fast it is, how many users, and so on and so forth.
Hmm.
And especially we were watching, especially we were looking at the time, we were looking at like Say, and we were looking at, some of the other blockchains and kind of comparing like speed, volume, etc. And I mean, I don't see Solana going anywhere. Of course, like eventually every blockchain will have a tech deficit.
Yeah.
There will be a time when some other thing is bigger, faster, newer. However, James from Invest Answers did this really great analysis.
Hmm.
And I mean, it just looks like Solana is going to continue to be strong and fast for a long time.
I mean, if Solana pauses, if it breaks a few more times, someone may come and outshine Solana. But yes, Solana is good for what it does now, and
Yeah. I mean, like, so, I mean, those things happening, like breaking and pausing, stuff like that. I mean, that is not something that we can, I mean, can we actually ever really get rid of that? Is it just a part of how things are, or is it
yes,
actually a problem?
I mean, if you want to run an enterprise like Visa or Mastercard, you
It's a
don't want
problem.
your whole network being paused for hours. So I don't know if Base Chain or Ripple XRP. I don't know who's going to be making something for the world to run on, but I feel like Solana
Mm.
is going to be here. I don't know who's going to make that like Visa, Mastercard type blockchain.
I mean, hmm, I mean, but what about like maintenance? Like, then this is kind of what I'm saying is like, there's no chain that can operate without maintenance, and you
That's
cannot
correct.
fix a plane when it's in the air. You've got to land that sucker if you want to get in there and fix it. So we just lost Bit Savage again. He'll be back though. He's gonna be back in a second. But wow, it's been an amazing morning. I want to thank everyone who's joining us this morning. And if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to throw it in the chat. Likewise, if you would like to join the stage, let me know. I'd love to see you. Yeah, okay, you're back.
Back. All right. I gotta head out. I'm looking at thread counts. I'm getting some stuff
Ah!
ready. I'm getting some stuff ready. Yo. And this is kind of what I love too. I love like I said before, yes, development is artistic and creating, but I really love like painting and fashion and fabric.
Oh, I can see by the way you're rubbing your hands together. It's gonna be good. It's gonna
The
be good.
Pepe rub.
Woo! It's
I
gonna
love
be great.
tactile. I love visceral tactile art.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to your test.
Just a test.
Right? Oh my gosh. Well, anyway, look, I better let you skedaddle, and I got to skedaddle too, because I'm going to be right back in just a little bit with some of my musician friends, and we're going to be talking about what's behind the lyrics. So definitely want to fill up this carafe and maybe get some water,
All right.
or I'm really going to be crazy.
All right now.
All right. Well, friends, thank you so much for joining us this morning with Bit Savage talking about the Adores platform. And we will be back next week. You'll see us on Tuesday. And you're welcome to join us. You may see a Twitter space. You may see us here on the live stream. Just know that you're always welcome if you would like to join us live, you want to join the stage, go ahead and send me a direct message, or you can just send me a request on Twitter. If you have my phone number, definitely text me. We'd love to see you. We'd love to have you join us, join the conversation.
Yeah, we want some
And
artists to come up here and talk with us. We need some.
yeah, we want your flavors. We want your flavors.